In order to help the Indian MSMEs manage their working capital well, I designed a framework called ASCOR. This five-stage framework starts with the first phase, which is the assessment of working capital. And how do we assess the working capital? There are two ways that I propose. The first is the standard accounting way, wherein the working capital is equal to current assets minus current liabilities. The current assets would cover the cash or cash equivalents, the receivables and the inventory that you are holding. So that would give you what are the current assets that you hold. The current liabilities would cover the payables, any short-term borrowings or any accrued liabilities that may have got accumulated over a period of time. The difference between these two will give you what is the working capital deployment in the business. This is a standard accounting method and it applies across all the businesses. So this by default tells you where the company stands, and that's more of a reactive approach wherein you are able to assess this maybe at the end of the year, at the end of the month, to see what is the deployment that you have done. But is there a way to find out what is the ideal working capital that we need? And when I was thinking about this challenge and I tried looked at different framework, different methods, I realized that there is nobody is really talking about this, because mostly the working capital is looked at as an accounting concept and primarily which needs to be done towards the end of the year, or this is something that the financial institutions would calculate to look at the health of an organization. However, I had always had a feeling that the companies need a benchmark to go towards. So I created this process of identifying what is the ideal working capital that you would need. So the process is as follows. First, you look at what is the monthly receivables that you would get. So typically you would have certain revenue and then you would have some payment terms to that. So look at that these are the top 10 clients or top 20 clients, typically take it up to at least around 90% of your revenue. So look at all these particular clients, see what is the payment term that you have agreed with them, when do you get the money, and then write down what is the total monthly collection that you get in a month. Okay, so you have monthly collection. Then look at all the monthly payouts. So you would be procuring some material and all the procurement that you are doing that needs to be honored with some particular credit period. And you know what's the credit period that you have agreed and what is that you are actually honoring. So write it down and see what is the total payout that you are doing to different vendors, to different material suppliers particularly. Now you have a difference between the money that you are collecting in a month and the money that you are paying to the vendor. The third thing that you should look at is what are your monthly fixed costs. Now these would include your salary payments, the rentals, all statutory payments that you would need to do, utility payments, electricity bills, everything that you would need to pay by default in each of the month. Write down everything. So that is basically your the total monthly fixed cost. Now to the difference between the money that you are receiving in a month and the payout that you are doing, add this particular amount that you would need to pay every month. So if you are basically receiving 100 rupees and your outflow to the vendor is about 60 rupees and your fixed costs are about 30 rupees, which means that you are able to operate within your own means. So you get 100 rupees per month, right? You pay vendor 60 rupees and then you have 30 rupees of your own cost. So 100 minus 60 minus 30. So you basically have 10 rupees left with you and then you would be able to operate within this particular cash flow itself, right? But it doesn't happen. You would create some inventory. So assume that you have a month's inventory. So you then add another 60 rupees to this. So when you need to add 60 rupees to this, then what would happen is that because the inventory you need to create, then you become short on 50 rupees. So you then need 50 rupees as the ideal working capital that you would have. Okay. The process will tell you what is the ideal working capital that you need, and then you can compare this with what is the actual working capital that you have deployed, and that would give you a lot of surprises. You would realize that if this particular cash flow was operating the way it is expected to operate, the working capital requirement may be far lesser compared to what has actually got deployed in the business. And that's when you will be able to start identifying the reasons for excess deployment. These could be the following. You can actually have the excess receivable, you can have excess inventory. There could be a challenge wherein you are paying too many vendors much more in advance compared to how you are getting the payment. Or there could be a very serious challenge about the way the whole working itself was done, and you may not have looked at all the numbers correctly. So have a look at these numbers and identify what are the reasons for you. Thank you.